Dagos looks like a trader. On noticing your approach, the merchant straightens his posture and smiles. What an honor. The name's Dagos, originally from the relative tranquility of the Northern Empire. I've since accepted a nomadic life for the sake of keeping Karos' forces supplied with our finest goods, local and imported. He winces a little. It's not much, but let me know if you see anything that piques your interest. Well, you've got a lot of scrolls there. Sigil of Channeled Strength. That's a sigil of Precise Action. What? Sigil of Vigor. That's a core. Let's get rid of some of the crap. Get rid of Agate. Shattered Glass Vial. Get rid of these armor bits we don't need. What's that? Oh, when did we get that? I need to learn that. Okay. Certain type of mushroom. We got a couple of scrolls in there. Yeah, let's trade that. Shame I can't afford that one, but we're quite a way off being able to afford it as well. Learn, learn. Learn, and learn. So, we've got a new core, Sigil of Vigor. Sigil, even. Been listening to Matt Mercer and his Sigil. Ugh. Right, we compare it with Sigil of Focused Intent. Expression used to create spells that affect single targets near the caster. Titan's Touch. Fill the target with a surge of greatness, granting them bonus to might and vitality. However, we can tweak it. Increases the range, increases the accuracy, or increases the duration. So it's 45 seconds usually and goes up to 56 if we put that on. And I will put that on myself because that's run in and bash people over the head buff style thing. I assume you can cast it on yourself. Let's give it to her as well. I guess she does have melee skills. It's just her law's possibly a bit low. No, it only requires 30, so she can cast it. Let's have a re-look at some of my other abilities then. Now we've got a few more ways of doing this. So this is the Touch of Atrophy. Can increase its duration. Yes. Let's get rid of these old ones. Because we need to remake them. So that's a debuff spell. Put that on him. Then we got lightning. Yes, that's single target. And that's distant targets. So we'll make this a range. Yeah, electric jolt. We've got enough spells to try and cast when we're up close in touch range. We want a long range thing. So we can increase the range. We can increase the area of effect. What does duration do? So it's got a stun on it. It would increase how long they're stunned for. Over effect would change it from 1 meter to 2 meter radius. Range would go from 8 to 10 meters. Accuracy, just randomly add an accuracy stat to it. I don't know how effective that is. Range might be good. I mean, the stun's 0.6 of a second, which probably isn't enough time for us to really get anything done. The range, however, would let them repair. Can we stick 2 on? We can stick 2 on, but it massively increases the level of the casting. Okay, that's good to know. The last one is the freeze. That gives over a second of extra frozen affliction. Even I'm not high enough level for that. We're going to have to be careful on which ones we pick here, just because that's the only combination I can use. I need to get my law skill up. Right then. Go have a look at those. Scroll sits here glowing with mystical energy. Read the scroll. Sigil of Illusion. Back we go. So, those who master the Sigil of Illusion are skilled in the arts of deceit and trickery. Options we've got are distance, focus. So, short range increases deflection. Masks the target in a blurred illusion, making them harder to hit. Increase the duration on that. That's probably not a bad one for her. What does the other thing do? False pit. Conjure the illusion of an endless black pit below the target, convincing them that they are falling to their death. The enemy is left prone until they make sense of the illusion. Okay, I like that. I need to... I'm going to get rid of this frost one. Mess around with that pit, because that just sounds fun. A shame I can't quite do that. I'm 1 point off of it. Magical pit. The binder of Tunon arrives. Squealing with teenager's timber, the fifth eye's voice makes your gums itch and your fingernails feel in need of a trim. And we just finished having a bit of sport with some captives, but worry not, we'll have more fun with another batch momentarily. Dressed in the bronze-red regalia of the Crimson Spears, the fifth eye beckons you to stand close, wagging a blood-splattered glove. Now that you've issued this edict and doomed us all to die, have you come to help us climb out of this hole? Gaps of laughter emanate from under his mask. Okay, so we've got, I trust you're getting ready. Not here to follow every order, but we all need to work together to stop this edict. How has the camp responded to this edict? That's a good thing to hear. With mewling, bawling, the occasional orgy, frequent vomitus, shrill tittering laughter escapes from under his mask. The bloodlust is there, so is the fear of failure. If our glorious horde fail to overrun the citadel, we will surely all perish. I mean, I don't see the disfavored pulling their weight. I trust you are getting the warriors ready for battle. We know the Oathbreakers are focused in the citadel beneath the mountain spire. We have learned this is not their only nest. Fifth Eye wags a hand in the air with a high-pitched squeal of displeasure. Given their pattern of attacks, they must have a second group maintaining camp here in the outer valley. Unless we deal with this second group, they'll attack from behind the moment we cross the river. So, you know how large a force... You have how large a force, and for all these weeks, you've let the enemy move freely around the valley. That's just going to antagonize them. Will this favor think you can't control your horde, and that many are defecting back to the Vendrian Guard? Well, I'll just remain silent. My last group of scouts returned with a new batch of prisoners, and one of these prisoners claims she can lead us to Vendrian Guard's secondary camp, though there are shreds of deception in her voice. I could use your help questioning this Varakel. Perhaps you will get less screams and tears and more useful information out of her. If we knew where to ambush the Oathbreakers, we could try to take their captain and show him the wisdom of joining the chorus. So I will speak with the prisoner. Why not just ask the Archon of Secrets? I thought he could interrogate anything. I don't belong to Archon Neret. My help worth. And are a few more conscripts going to change anything at this point? It seems wise to just kill them. I'll just go speak with the prisoner. Somebody said apparently she wants to talk with me. Ah, that little icon. Right, let's speak with Verse. Verse, how did you do that? Verse looks at you with a quizzical expression. Do what? Back in the Archon's war tent, you cast an edict as casually as reading a supply shipment. How did you do that? Well, I've done it before. It was nothing really. I don't want to discuss it. Well, I've done it before. Don't I look stupid? You're the one who cast the Edict of Storms on Stalwart, didn't you? The one that tore all the battlefield apart with the cyclone of Kairos' anger. From the Conquest. That was me, alright? Well, call me impressed. Considering you've read the words of Kairos more than once, I'm surprised you're even alive to tell it. Your vocal cords should have turned to ash by now. I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable, it's just worth recognizing that what you've done. Not only are you Tunon's Fatebinder, you're the mouthpiece of the Overlord. Gives me plenty of reason to stick around. You're going places and I want to see where they lead. So that's enough for now, or we can ask her some questions. Let's see what the questions are.
What do you need?
Well, she voices that bit. Are you a spy for Voices of Narat? We've already come to that conclusion, I think. Tell me about your time with the Scarlet Chorus. What are your thoughts on the Disfavored? You learned a thing or two about fighting in the Scarlet Chorus Ketted Duel. We'll just go with the top one. First regards you an unreadable expression. Her mismatched eyes look at each of yours in turn. Insufficient reputation. I mean, does it even matter? You have to decide for yourself whether or not I'm worth trusting. Is keeping me along worth the risk? That I'll spill the occasional word about what you ate for breakfast. See what she thinks of the Disfavored. A warren of self-entitled children so wound up in delusions of honour, they're likely to hang themselves by their own high standards. Wish they'd stayed in the Northern Empire where they belonged, then we could get some real work done in the tiers. What are your thoughts on their battle strategies? They've really got something with the phalanx maneuver, a formation built on holding still, moving forward slowly and hoping no one slips in the mud. At best, the Disfavored are tired of using the same tactic over and over again. Worse, the enemy knows what to expect out of them. Scarlet Furies are dancers. We hear the music of battle and organise ourselves into works of killing art. Every fight is hot and passionate as the last, with no room for stale routine. Fair enough. Fireman, let the Fatebinder speak with our catch of the day. Very well, Fifth Eye. Let's try Lantry first, shall we? Oh, let's deal with Vara before we let that sage speak. So I'm just going to take a quick drink. because this is a lot of reading. Please, someone! I wish to bow before the voices of Narat. I thought all could find redemption in the chorus. The woman in the makeshift armor of the Vendrian Guard lurches forward in agony. Her soiled, trembling legs suggest she has been forced to stand for days. Yep, part of the Vendrian Guard. This one, he flippantly waves at the prisoner, was hollering earlier. She knows the location of the Vendrian Guard encampment. He isn't being entirely honest. I told this thing, the prisoner turns pale a moment before a look of determination comes over her face, that I wanted to guarantee I'd live and be welcomed into the chorus as a captain. Then I'll talk. Otherwise they'll just kill me once I've opened up. I was dumb enough to join with the Vendrian Guard, but I'm not dumb enough to give away my bargaining bronze. Saying we disavow people for the Scarlet Chorus, why the change of hearts? Because I want to live and don't need to be the Archon of premonitions to know that the younger realms are gone for good. She blinks several times, catching her breath. Karos is the new strength of the tears, and I would rather stand with his Archons than be crushed by them. Why should I trust the words of an Oathbreaker? I suppose I have no answer for that. Farah's eyes fall to the ground, she swallows nervously. When I joined the Vendrian Guard, I accepted their broken vow unto myself. Have you not felt passion for a foolish cause, one you later came to regret? While my surrender is sincere, I am willing to bow before the voices of Narat to prove it. Tell me what you know and I can see to your release. I heard the chorus is looking for Captain Pelox Florian and his crew. I can lead you to them, but only if you release me. She turns ahead, taking a long look at skewered and smouldering corpses around her. She tugs at her restraints, but to no avail. So we have athletics, raise your voice, start talking now, or subterfuge 30, or lying. Why don't you tell me what you actually know and I'll see about saving you? Or we could have the voices Narat extract what you know from your mind. Given that she's so adamant to see the voices Narat, I suspect that's an assassin or some sort of ploy. I'm going to go with the subterfuge. Well, you see, shaken by your demand, her lips move wordlessly for several seconds. So I don't know exactly where the rest of the crew is, but I can tell you, she shakes her head, catching her breath. Search that one. She reaches up with her right leg and points with her foot, calling attention to a nearby pile of corpses. The tall dark one missing most of his face. Check his left boot. He was the literate one in our crew, he had the orders. The snap of his fingers, a pair of choirmen yank the boot off the fallen guardsman. A rolled parchment slides out of the boot and is thrust into the fifth eye's hand. He unfurls the scroll to give it a read. It's nonsense, just a mash of words after erupts from under his mask. She said she had information, she gives us garbage. Slay this wretch for wasting our time. He snaps his fingers at a nearby Scarlet Fury, who promptly snatches a long knife from her belt. But I can say I heard her say she'd swear fealty to the voices Narat, and initiation rite would be in order. Or I can remain silent and let her die. I reckon she wants to kill the voices Narat, and I don't know what the initiation rite entails. I'm going to go with it and see. Ooh, we gained wrath. Not enough to reach the tier, though. Seeing as you are an expert on the subject of fate, I will entertain your wisdom on the matter. What then would you propose we do with her? Point to two other prisoners. Let's test her loyalty. Vareth killed these guardsmen with something blunt. Or send her back as our agent. When the time comes, she will aid us. We'll track down her kin. Or you're wasting a good slave. Work her until she's broken and feed her to the pigs. Does she really care about the other two prisoners? That, doesn't really tell us anything. None of these are great options. I'll point to the other two. We can at least just test her loyalty. Hoping there's another option afterwards that still gives us a chance to back out. Farah looks at the prisoners once her allies and closes her eyes as her bonds are untied. The onlookers snicker and cheer with a heavy rock is placed in her hand. Mouthing something inaudible, she lifts the rock high above her head and smashes it down on the prisoner's skull. Wincing back a scream as she hoists the stone over the head a second time to finish the job on the other prisoner. The bloody rock hits the ground and Farah slumps to her knees in defeat a moment later. Good, good. Vithai places his bloodied hand on the trembling woman's shoulder and nods to her. Welcome to the Scarlet Chorus. Do not fail us. As a pair of soldiers come to lift Farah, the Fifth Eye turns to you, his voice filled with glee. Where's a slave to clean up the offal when you need it? Damn it, I wanted to talk to her. We're no closer to finding the Oathbreaker's position, not with this cryptic mess. She promised us answers and all she gave us was gibberish. It's clearly a cipher or something, you moron.
Sorry to interrupt, but I highly doubt it's gibberish. More likely, it's one of the local scripts.
Looks like we've just found the next party member. Yep. The voice comes from another prisoner tied up next to Vara. An older gentleman with quills, ink vials, and parchment scrolls one finds on the sages of the School of Ink and Quill. Ink smudges cover his cheeks, temples, and ears. His clothes appear charred, and between the rips of the fabric you spot burn scars along his arms. Despite being emaciated and tied to a post, he offers a beaming smile. Show him the parchment. Can you read? I'm going to read the parchment for myself. You unroll the parchment, see a message of modest length written with professional, albeit hasty penmanship. The Tismen speak Canto just like the Northerners, but they have a half-dozen different ways of writing it. This particular script is unknown to you. Now I at least know it is a decent-looking message. So show him the parchment. Can you read this?
Well, let me see. I can't.
He holds the parchment in front of the bound sage, and his eyes dart down the length of the missive. He reads the words a second time, nodding in silence.
I don't know exactly what it says, but I'm half certain that's Sage Selwyn's handwriting. I'm sure I could decipher that in a few hours' time. Don't need my hands free, but I think better when not tied to a post. I know, I'm weird that way.
Few hours, either you can read it or you cannot. He uses a sage that doesn't know his letters. I've heard all I need to hear. I say we have some fun with this one. Thing is, time is of the essence for me as well, but I fully appreciate trying to decipher something is not immediate. Can't hurt to give him a few hours. You read the edict. I don't need to tell you this Hundal is working against us. This adult old bag is just trying to stall us. Untie him, give him a chance to translate. Are you giving me orders, Binder? Does this look like Tunon's court? Last I checked, only the Archon of Secrets can tell me what to do with a prisoner. Crimson Spear pounds his staff. The Crimson Spear pounds his staff to the ground. Yeah, that's not me reading it wrong. If this old man wants freedom, we shall give him his fair shot at a trial.
Fatebinder, I beseech you, be my advocate for this trial. I'm no fool. I know the chorus uses blood, not words, to settle these matters. But you are a servant of the Archon of Justice, are you not?
Oh, joy. Fine, but I'll be his champion. This one needs to live. Release the prisoner at once. I'm taking him into my custody. Need the prisoner alive. This is a terrible idea. He obviously has no useful information, yet you're willing to let him die for sport. Or, as a Fatebinder, is not my place to tell the chorus how to conduct trials on their own land. I'll be his champion.
Good. I like it when Tunon's puppies get their paws dirty.
You hear that, brothers and sisters? Raising his arms to the sky, the fifth eye roars for all nearby to hear. Trial by combat is upon us. The sage is unbound from the post. Stiff legs nearly buckle as he attempts to walk, and his arms flex and flail in their new freedom. Wiping sweat and grime from his brow, the sage steps close to you with a nervous smile. Rhythmic roaring and the stomping of hundreds of feet in unison flood the camp. Hordsmen begin to circle and swirl about, brandishing weapons and jeering. Begin the Chant of Gathering. Let the warriors know that tonight's entertainment will soon commence. Can he be translating while we're waiting?